This is the Kpopcast, bringing you the best sounds and ideas in K-pop. And today we've got our BTS meal, we've got our Bisquick pancake mix, and we've got butter to discuss BTS's butter. Joining me for this discussion, it's Kayla and Bethany from the Stanning BTS podcast.
Hi, I'm Kayla.
And I'm Bethany, and we're the hosts of Stanning BTS. It's a bi-weekly informative fangirl podcast about BTS.
Yeah, thank you guys for having us. We're really excited to be here and talk about butter.
I'm so delighted that we got both of you on this episode to talk about butter. Deferring to a lot of your expertise on this, and I am also in admiration of your guys' podcast.
Thank you.
Finger heart, yes. And returning to the show in his first comeback stage, it's Rhodri. What's going on, Rhodri?
Hey, if you have listened to every Kpopcast episode, you'll know that I was once one of the fine people lucky enough to be a regular host. Right now, I am just a freelance K-pop enthusiast, but I am glad to be back for my first comeback stage. Comeback stage. Pew, pew, pew.
All right, so yes, if it wasn't obvious, today we're here to talk about BTS's single Butter.
Letting you know if this song is Daebak or not.
Let's go!
All right, so if for some reason, I don't know, you're listening to this like 10 years from now or something, and you didn't know what's happening, Butter follows on the release of their last album, B, in November 2020. It is also their second all-English single, the first being Dynamite, aka the song with a bajillion remixes. And the debut performance of this track was at the 2021 Billboard Music Awards, where BTS took home the awards for Top Social Artist as well as Top Selling Song. And along with this promotion of BTS Butter, BTS also partnered with McDonald's for a very special meal, along with a line of merchandise. I know a lot of people were also not even merchandise aside. I think people were just trying to get the purple bag in special sauces.
It was a nice looking purple bag.
Even when greasy. And according to Tamar Herman from the South China Morning Post, Suga said during a press conference for Butter that it is another try to get a Grammy Award, with RM adding, "Yes, we are going for another Grammy," end quote. So that's the background on Butter. I don't know if you guys had anything else that you wanted to add. For the record, you just wanted to make sure that people knew about Butter before we talk about the song.
Definitely makes sense that they're going for the Grammy. I believe, were going for the Grammy with Dynamite and BTS. I believe Namjoon said that they never have made anything on their first go around, so they're going to do it again, and they're going to keep trying because ARMY really wants it for them. You know, we really do. So we're going to be supporting, and I think Butter is working its way there.
Yeah.
I think between Butter and Dynamite, Butter is already my favorite between the two.
Yeah.
It's just better production, better enunciation, honestly. In the English lyrics, it was just clear, and not only better enunciation, but less room for confusion. I think I thought they were swearing the last in Dynamite, but anyway.
Yeah. I think that us, like, 2 minutes after watching the Butter music video for the first time, felt like Butter checks all the boxes that Dynamite did and then exceeded that as well.
Yeah, agreed.
You know, definitely going to talk about more of that as we get into it.
Okay, well, let's talk about the message and meaning of this song. So I know ARMYs are known for, if there was a murder mystery somewhere, ARMYs will, have the cure or the clue or the answer, or like, Ace Gumshoe detectives. They can figure anything out. But in this case, there wasn't any crazy theories, at least not that we could initially tell from the surface, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, we know that RM said that Butter uses the versatile nature of Butter to express the charm and smoothness of BTS as both individuals and as a group.
And I think they do that very effectively.
Mm-hmm.
In another interview to Apple Music, RM expanded on that, saying that we never actually expected that we were going to release another single, but the virus is getting longer and longer, so we thought we needed another summer song. We thought we needed another summer number, and Butter was perfectly fit for that, and now we're here.
Yeah, we're very thankful that RM was able to work on this song lyrically, because BTS's touches on the lyrics was what really was missing from Dynamite. The lyrics didn't connect to anything. They didn't have more meaning beyond just what they basically were in Dynamite. And at least here in Butter, we can see his touches on the rap verses, his touches on, what they're actually saying. He was able to speak in the press conference about writing on Butter and saying that parts that they felt weren't compatible with their style or rap, they decided to get involved with. We were really happy to see that he worked on the song in this way.
We think it made the song sound more authentically BTS,
yes.
Knowing that first off, that there's rap verses, which is what Dynamite was really lacking, but that they had a hand in the lyrics, especially RM being one of the main writers for BTS.
It's just so rare that there's a song that is theirs that is not written by them, that they don't work on. And the ones that they don't work on tend to sound less like them.
Right.
So if they're really stepping more into creating English music, especially having more English singles, to us, it's imperative that they have their hands on the lyrics.
Absolutely. And, this might be a little redundant with what we were saying earlier, but Jimin also said in a press conference that we tried to prepare a song that's easy listening rather than a profound or heavy message. It may be a bit embarrassing, but it's smooth like butter. It will melt into you. It's cute and charismatic, and we try to imbue these kinds of feelings into the song.
I think I remember watching the video, having just read that line and thinking, damn, they did it. They really did it. This is overflowing with both charm and charisma. And it just makes you feel like it doesn't even matter what they sing or do or anything. Because, this is a lighter song for them. If you're talking about like subject material or concept or something, it doesn't even like matter. It just, it's hard not to like this song. It's hard not to watch the video and feel like they can do anything.
Yeah.
And conceptually, it functions as a radio pop single. It's not supposed to be one of their deep, profound songs like Blue and Gray or Outro Tear. It's supposed to be something super accessible to any listener.
The casual listener.
Yeah, the casual listener. So that way this can be played on the radio 100 times a day and everybody's going to love it and want to press repeat.
It is just that. Oh my God. Sorry, I'm just jumping a little head out of order here, but like, just the composition of the song, it is like so purposely built by design for radio play. Like when it's done being played, like you naturally want to go back to the very beginning again.
Yeah.
You won't even really notice if it's on repeat.
Yeah.
No. Because it ends so abruptly, and that abrupt ending makes you want to listen to it again.
Yeah.
I just, I want to add for Jimin's quote that you gave there from the press conference, when he talked about it seeming embarrassing, how we really took that was BTS are always so humble.
Humble kings.
Yes. And when you look at these lyrics, they're talking about how we melt over them and, they're making us sweat. It really made us think of their song Pied Piper. But for them, that might be embarrassing, like to be talking that way towards ARMY. So that's really how we took it. But it is dripping with charisma. And when we get into the lyrics later, I believe that there's more than what scratches the surface for the lyrics.
Yeah. Well, let's actually just dive into that section right now. So, what were you saying about some of the profound aspects of the lyrics of the song?
Okay. Well, the opening verse with Jungkook's verse, first time listening through, I had a hard time paying attention to the rest of the music video because I was just blown away by this verse at the beginning. So Jungkook says, smooth like butter, like a criminal undercover, gonna pop like trouble, breaking into your heart like that. And this lyric for me was, yes, we've got the smooth criminal, which they're always paying homage to Michael Jackson. But deeper down, I see it as a K-pop group disrupting the American music charts, and how that can almost seem criminal, causing trouble by being so immensely popular and seeming to come out of nowhere, even though they've been popular in the States for so long at this point.
Mm-hmm. And even that line, gonna pop like trouble, just that can have multiple meanings. Pop music, pop art, which was an art style referenced in a lot of their Butter promotions, and even just popping like dynamite, like their previous English song. And I just really feel like this line is representative of them Trojan horsing the American music industry, like especially with this Hybe and Ithaca merge that just recently happened. BTS are at a place where Butter has the potential to really dominate the music scene because of that merge that kind of went on in the background.
It almost feels like they just, everything going against them, they had to do that. Like they had to come in as a Trojan horse. Now, that being said, I think all the radio DJs, broadcast television personalities, this is like round 2 for a lot of them. So they now know, they're like, oh my God, they may have been surprised by ARMY the first time. Now they know.
Yeah.
They're rehearsed and they're ready to receive it. And frankly, for their purposes, take advantage of it. But yeah, I mean, like, you know, they've got to come in on this very benign package, like a Trojan horse, to really make it, unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, it's just what is going to be palatable to the general American Western audience, because the ARMY that are already here, we're sold. We're fully in it. We don't need the English music to be massive lunatic fans of theirs, you know. But the general American audience, if we want BTS to be a household name like Ariana Grande, and everybody knows who they are and listens to their music just casually, then I think that this is a merge and the, you know, thing that needed to happen for them.
Which, going off of that, one of the lyrics that they say too is "talk is cheap," and for me, that's just, for music, the language in which the music's presented doesn't matter. It transcends language, and so the talk is cheap. We're just going to show you, and love it.
Although they did have to, I mean, I don't know if they had to, but I mean, this was, again, another all English track. I mean, what did you think of that move?
I expected it.
Yeah.
I feel better about it knowing that RM had a hand in the writing of the lyrics, and that rap was presented in the song. That ended up really making the song for us, because we felt it was more them versus what Dynamite was. Love Dynamite, but in terms of the lyrics, it was full of idioms and cliches, whereas this song, it seemed to show more of that BTS depth. And so I just expected that in order for them to get that Grammy, in order for them to continue getting radio plays, that English was needed.
And it's unfortunate.
It is.
You know, their music that they've already made is phenomenal. Like the entire Love Yourself Tear album, I think is one of the best albums ever. So it's upsetting that they have to make music in English to be accepted and to like be able to go for the Grammy. But I think as long as they're making music that continues to try to be more authentic to who they are and the type of music they've always made, then I think we're going to be supportive of it. I think Dynamite was them just getting their toes wet. They always describe Dynamite as being something that fell into their lap, that they really had to jump on. They didn't have time to make changes. So at least with this, you know, second go around with Butter, they are writing on it, they're having a say in it, and hopefully as they progress more into creating a bigger English discography, they're able to work on the songs even greater. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like listening to Dynamite, frankly, also the promotion strategy for Dynamite, it felt very like, okay, we're going. You know, and whereas contrast that with Butter. The Butter promotions, the promo cycle before the song drop, and the way it's unraveling now, the way they're trickling out more content post-release, it feels much more deliberate. And then you guys also point to all these other things. Again, RM having a very heavy hand in the composition and the lyrics of the song itself also make it feel a lot more
genuinely BTS.
They definitely took the Old Town Road method of all of those remixes, helping them out on the charts with Dynamite.
Yep.
It doesn't seem like they're really worried about doing it in that way for Butter. It's nice to get a few Butter remixes, and we just got the hotter version. We're expecting a smoother and
sweeter
version.
I think you're right.
But,
yeah.
you know, it's okay to not get them, or it's nice that they're trickling out the content.
Yeah. Yeah. And along these lines of being a bit more authentic to BTS, I think we're seeing some nods, you know, for armies, for fans who know. So at one point in Suga's verses in Butter, he says, ice on my wrist, I'm the nice guy. And one of the things that I'm actually reminded of in that lyric is Cypher 4, or the fourth Cypher, whatever, where Suga says, I'm noble and generous. And later in a few lyrics down, he says, paycheck, Rolex on my wrists.
Ooh.
So, you know, some echoes, right?
Yeah.
Of stuff that he said previously. But we were talking earlier, a lot of this is acknowledging ARMY. And I think maybe this is a very unique thing about BTS. Say, I don't know, compare Taylor Swift, Bieber, Ariana Grande. Yeah, they've got fans. They've got lots of fans, but fans are a part of the BTS identity. I think in a just much more like DNA, deliberate sense. And we see a lot of clues of that in this song. So
Yeah.
I think one way they did that very fun and intelligently in a way that capitalizes on K-pop culture. There's another part in Suga's lyrics where he says, hate us, you know, like a message to his haters. And then in the ad-libs from the rest of the group, they say, love us, right? Right after that. But when you think about, just given the nature of these K-pop performances, they're fan chants. And you're going to have a live setting of this. And I can see all the armies very directly against the haters referencing the song saying, love us.
Yeah.
So I thought that was really, you know, clever. Well done.
Yeah. The call and response that's put into the song there. I love that it's Yoongi who says, hate us. And then ARMY gets to respond, love us. And I can't wait for when we get to see them in concert, because that's going to be so sweet to shout.
Yeah. To scream.
Yeah.
To scream.
Yeah. But such a flex on the haters, that line. Even the ice on my wrist line, going back to that one. I love that you pulled out that Cypher Part 4 lyric. But Yoongi is even known for being iced up. I mean, on stage, he always has the ice on his neck, on his wrist. So that's just, it's who he is, you know? And definitely that little nod to the haters, we had really conceptualized as we were theorizing about this song before it came out, that there was going to be some like hate nod to the haters in some way. And this is small, but it's there. So,
Yeah. Yeah. Like, you know what? It's, I think everyone can agree to this like metaphysical reality now. Like, sure, there may be these haters like that are inevitably going to appear just given the nature of popularity. Also, just given we reference all the challenges and obstacles BTS has to overcome, maybe frankly, some xenophobia, or just not people are just not receptive to pop. But we can all agree, like just as a state of the world, that like ARMY is unstoppable.
It's true.
ARMY's so powerful, it's scary.
Yeah.
Like,
put BTS on a show.
We are so hardcore ARMY, and we're terrified of ARMY at times.
Yeah.
They have the numbers and the will.
We do. We have the numbers. If BTS says it, then we really try to make it happen for them.
Right.
The haters don't matter, because you know, BTS ultimately has ARMY, and we really are to the point where we're ignoring the haters and, you know, moving above and beyond.
Yeah. Hate us, love us, doesn't matter.
That's right. And that being said, you know, BTS in the past, they said, you can call us idols, artists, we don't care. What we care about in the end, as evidenced in this song, is ARMY, right? So we see another clue of that, Jungkook kissing his ARMY tattoo in the beginning of the music video. we cannot deny the army pose. Like they used all six members of the group to spell out army. That was cute. And
that was amazing.
Super cute.
Army behind us is, I think, what he says in that moment.
Yeah,
that's right.
The army right behind us when we say so.
So good.
Yeah. And I don't know if this was intentional. Maybe this is like me like over theorizing it, but the very beginning of the song, you see members of BTS in black and white with a white background. It's like it's all them. And so later on in the song, when you've got the army behind them, same composition. So black and white, and just it's BTS, but BTS spelling army, and showing that these things are like one and the same.
Yeah. I love that because the same coloring used in the same place, showing that they're connected visually. Yeah. Also, did you know that they did that pose back in 2013?
When they debuted.
I missed that.
They did.
Yep.
Huh.
So very cool that they, again, bringing something in from their past that, you know, something that maybe only Army would know.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't see any of that anywhere. I don't think people know that. Yeah.
I really perhaps think that the best line of the whole song is "Got Army right behind us when we say so." I felt that that was a call to action, not that we needed it, but a call to action for like, okay, like they're going to support us for Butter. They've got our backs. And so I feel that I know personally, I've been streaming way harder than I ever have before. I feel so motivated to get Butter to where their goals are and where our goals are for them.
Okay, well, we talked about what we were able to decipher from the message in the lyrics of this song, but now let's talk about the aesthetics, the Butter concept. What did you guys think of this? I don't even know how you would characterize this concept. How would you guys describe it?
It really can't be characterized by one thing, right? Just like BTS's music, you can't fit it into one little genre. They like to experiment and dip into different things. So coming out with the concept photos and the concept teasers, we were really thinking pop art was the biggest thing that stood out to us at first. The art design style was a huge thing. But obviously, as we've gotten into the actual music video itself, like retro 80s American style as well as music style is super, super prevalent. Something that stands out is the pancakes and the syrup, a really traditional American breakfast. Definitely just like bringing in some more of that classic Americana vibe as well.
One of the more interesting shots that we noticed in the music video was the shot where they're in this gymnasium. They're wearing these Gucci tracksuits. Yeah. And for us, it was like, it just seemed out of place or so much different from the rest of the music video. And in this, we see that a lot of them have their bangs down. It looks more like a softer concept. And first time watching through, I was thinking of just more traditional K-pop concepts, like cuter concepts. I went to Red Velvet's Russian Roulette. I thought of IOI. I thought of even Twice's Cheer Up, those types of concepts. And then later on, you see this hangar door in that area that's opened up. And on the other side is palm trees and an airplane.
Their private jet.
Yes, their private jet. But it was so interesting to see this gymnasium where they have bright colors and this oversaturated color too. Like Jungkook's hair is purple, but in the shot it almost looks blue. It's so saturated. And we felt that on the other side of this hangar door is like this bridge between, this K-pop, where they come from K-pop and then going into the U.S. music market.
Wow.
That's how we interpreted that.
Yeah, I never would have thought of that, honestly. But I could definitely see that.
I buy it, yeah.
Indeed, like, you've got the suit, also sharpness. Like, I don't know, like from a technical cinematography point of view, there's just more sharpness and detail for when they're in scenes with their suit versus the fantasy highly K-pop rainbow color saturation world. I when I look across all the different visuals that we saw in this, what I was taking away was they're rock stars at this point. They are celebrities. They've achieved whatever they want. And so the reason why I suggest it's not just an airplane, but their private jet, it's because they're at that level now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So not that they need, like a rap video is like, look at all these cars and gold and stuff on my neck necessarily. Like they need that to flex and show that they are rich. But, it's not like they need to do it from a defensive point of view, but perhaps introducing themselves to a Western market who may be hearing about them for the first time, despite, all the airplay that Dynamite got. Maybe this is a way just to demonstrate to them that, yes, these people are indeed top of the game celebrities who have it all.
I love that you bring it up, them introducing themselves to this Western market, because Dynamite might be known, but it might not be instantly recognizable as BTS. In this music video, they have that mugshot lineup scene. And what sticks out to me as, this is them identifying themselves to the American market, is the signs have their names on it. It has their birthdays on it.
Yep.
It's, it's just, if you are brand new to BTS, you can pause it and instantly see who's who. It's very debut style.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I totally missed all this stuff. This is amazing.
Rhodri, you're supposed to do your homework.
I watched the music video at least 3 times.
Okay. Well, for Rhodri's sake,
please do continue.
There were a few details in that mugshot scene. Again, for armies who know, I think it was in a V Live. They said, a couple of them said like, oh yeah, this is just a random. Well, there was their birth date. So that was, no double heading meaning there behind their birth date.
Right.
But on top of that, there was another row of numbers for each, a placard that each person had to hold for the mugshot. So some of those numbers are random, but some of them had meaning, that they showed on the V Live. So, V, could also be V for victory. Mm-hmm. And his number was like 0001 because they're going to be number one, V for victory, number one, mm-hmm. top of the game, number one on the charts, whatever. We also saw Jungkook, his number, it's 110604, but if you change the order I'm a Western American citizen, so I see that and I see a different date. But if you change the month in the year order, for what's known in Korean formatting, that changes to June 4th, 2011, which is the first time Jungkook moved into the dorms in Seoul.
So cute.
Adorable.
Yeah. And then just to close out on the other ones really quick, RM, his number was 1904, which was his apartment number. And then J-Hope, I don't know, like you ever type in like 8008 or something on a calculator and spell something out, but same sort of concept here. So he did 660, which is like, I'm sorry, my Korean pronunciation is no good, but essentially like bobo or something, which means like blowing a kiss in Korean. So typical J-Hope.
Yeah, super cute. And Jimin's was the date of the first concert of the Red Bullet tour, their first tour, which is very cool.
That's right. So, hey, there's little gems, little nuggets, little Easter eggs.
Yeah. Just like you said, they're always bringing ARMY into it and like recognizing ARMY in the song. They recognized ARMY lyrically, and then visually in the video, they're recognizing ARMY by putting things like that only we would get.
Yeah. Oh, I want to call out another one. So I froze frame when you're seeing the buttons on the elevator in the music video. If you look down at the bottom for the open door and closed door buttons.
Oh my God.
It's the ARMY and the BTS logos. I thought that was really clever.
You found that? I am extremely impressed.
Like that's a moment, like it's just a few frames long, but like if there's going to be like written, look, let's put it this way.
You're an expert.
If something's going to be written in a BTS music video, there's probably some purpose, even if it's like a silly Easter egg thing. So
you are so right.
Do you want a little bit more explanation?
Oh, please. Yes, go for it.
Okay, so in the shooting sketch behind the scenes for the music video, Namjoon spoke about this elevator. And he referenced the elevator in Dope, which was the only other time that an elevator has appeared in their music videos.
Right.
And in that music video, they took the elevator from the basement all the way to the top. He said that in the shooting sketch. We took it from the basement to the top. Now they're taking the elevator to Army's hearts.
That's what he said, yeah.
I'm slapping my knee for that one. Okay. Okay, RM. Yeah. I don't know. I might be overreading it, but there's one scene where they're dancing, and there's two arches behind them, which just kind of reminded me of the top of the BTS logo. So I might be overreading that one. And wait, you guys, I think you wanted to bring something up on the stage at the end.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The final stage, that final scene, that's very yellow and black. They're in the yellow and black suits.
It's extravagant.
Super
all this
extravagant.
lighting, all these spotlights lining around this stage. What we noticed about this stage, and a lot of other people, because it's just different, there's all these circles around it. And there's been a lot of theories. I heard people say that they're the butter on top of waffles. That looks like a waffle. But for us, we really think that this is referencing to that pop art style again. It looks just like the shading that you use in pop art.
Right.
And they're the idols, the icons on top of this art that they're just, they are the art. They are the art, but presented towards what's more American, presented towards the American market.
And interesting that this is the final kind of scene of the music video. The colors that they're wearing, yellow and black, are also very reminiscent of the colors they debuted in 2013, black and gold. So if this is like their Western, official debut into American music, because they have, like their names and their birthdays early in the music video. Now they're throwing it back to their official debut with that black and gold again.
Or it could be Hybe's colors too.
Yeah.
Oh. Yes. The forerunners. And frankly, really the profit drivers for Hybe. But okay,
right.
That is fine. I want to ask you guys, do you have a favorite look amongst the members in this music video?
I totally do.
Okay, let's hear Bethany.
I have a tie, honestly. It's hard to pick. I would have to say Jin.
Mm-hmm.
Jin, for me, he's in this music video, he's in a white suit. His bangs are back. He's got these stylish glasses. He kills it in his elevator freestyle scene. He's just extremely confident. But the way that he looks to me is like Elvis Presley icon. Like, he just looks like a total star, a rock star, like you were saying earlier.
Yep.
And for me, I would have to say Jungkook just absolutely wrecks me. That long hair really destroys me at every moment. And then in the elevator scene, when he has it tied back, takes it to a whole new level. I think that he looks phenomenal throughout the entire music video, and he really pulls us in right there at the beginning.
Wow. I was going to say the exact opposite about Jungkook. I was like, oh man, poor Jungkook. He had to sport this silly look. But Kayla, don't worry. I know you're not alone. I know listeners on our Kpopcast Live just called me out just for that reason, saying I was very mistaken for forever thinking that was not a good look. I just didn't personally like it. But before I give my answer, Rhodri, did you have a favorite look in this music video?
I was a big fan of RM's silly glasses. Definitely, he kills that.
Yeah. Well, what was really doing it for me was Jimin, like the pulled back hair, and I loved his outfitting in this. I think nothing on the other members, but honestly, I think Jimin was giving us the most celebrity confidence, look, poise, and I'll call it out. His dancing was the best. I don't know if I can objectively say from a technical point of view, but it really seemed that way.
Just gonna do my boy J-Hope dirty like that?
Sorry, Rhodri. Like, it may be simple. Like, they each did their freestyle segment for the elevator dancing scene, and Jimin's was just a very simple, hook twirl. But the way he filled the time to do that full rotation, I think said something about his confidence, and that was, I found, frankly, really attractive about the style and his look in this particular single.
He's really said that the confidence that he has on stage depends on what he's wearing, and his fits in this video were top notch, phenomenal. So of course that confidence was just exuding from him.
Also, when he was doing that, like the pseudo press conference, when he had all the mics in front of him and the sunglasses, I think that needs to be a more permanent part of his look and style, honestly. Let's say, BTS is, they may be doing a promotion for a different single, whatever. But if they're going to do a press tour, that's how he's got to look, as far as I'm concerned.
The hair back with the streaks just looks phenomenal.
Yeah, it's very unique look, too.
Yeah. He pulls it off so well.
Yeah. Okay, let's talk about the dancing. There is a bit of that, disco 70s. It's not, one-to-one disco, but it's influenced by disco, I think, from what we can see in the dancing. I'll confess that I didn't actually like the toe points. It seemed like their execution, honestly, I think in Hyphen or TXT could have done that same move with a bit more sharpness. So I think just from an execution point of view, I was not delighted by that. But it was a very fun choreography. And as someone who used to do a lot of social dancing for jive, West Coast swing, I could see myself incorporating that very same choreography, maybe going a little bit lower in my height and traversing across the floor a bit more with a bit more rhythm, a bit more funk. I think they could have had a little bit more fun with this choreography, just because I think it was really intended to be so rhythmic and so, larger than life, no cares, no worries sort of song. So I think, I think their execution, I'm surprised to say it, of all bands, but I think execution could have been a little better there, but it was a very fun choreography.
I think that in their live performances, their execution is, cannot be matched. Have you seen Billboard? Their feet are in sync. It's just perfectly done. I will say that in this music video, I don't even notice the choreography that much. I'm too wrapped up in the other scenes going on, the other things happening, and really only getting the choreo right there during the chorus. I feel like for me was not enough to go on to really get an idea of the choreography in total.
Yeah. But with the live performances, we get to see during that instrumental break that they have this incredible dance break that they do, where J-Hope comes up in front and absolutely kills it. He's center, he's controlling the choreography behind him, and then we have Jungkook come up in front. So that part with the dance break, I think, really adds a different element to the song. They've got a dance break incorporated inside the song there for their live performances. The choreography for me, what I really loved was these small details of the hand kiss that they do. I think that's so sweet considering the lyrics and how they're like, oh, we melt your heart. And then they kiss their own hands as if they're kissing ours. And then the shushing that they do with the finger over their mouth when they're delivering those lines of talk is cheap. I think it's clever, it's cute, and that's what really, the choreography, there's a lot of footwork that goes on, but I just love those little details, those cute little motions they do.
And I thought that the elevator solos were super fun and entertaining for me. Those are the highlight of the dance for the video. And those were freestyled also. So I thought that those really showed their charisma and their own personal, personalities between each of them. I thought that they had fun with that part.
Definitely.
But I was feeling for Chica, who was
Yeah, he's just doing this little like
He killed it. He
snapping a
showed
little
his
bit.
personality and his own charisma in that.
Just chill.
I loved it.
Wasn't he
slight
followed
rocking of
by
the hips.
J-Hope there, who just like was
Yeah.
going insane?
Yeah, it's
He
a
went
little
off.
hard to follow
He used the
J-Hope.
whole space.
Yeah. J-Hope, I think, gave it more energy. And yeah, I was just thinking, Kayla, filled the scene.
Yes, he filled the elevator.
Yeah.
His whole self was all over that elevator.
Mhm.
Right. Okay. Well, you heard us talk about the concept, the choreography. Let's take it to the music. Because after all, we're here to talk about K-pop music, right? So Rhodri, I think you had something to say about the segment in particular.
Yes, I did. And I'm afraid that I'm going to have to deviate from my original plans because I've been so sold on this song. And I came in here with a couple of key problems that have since been solved in the discussion we've had.
Oh, okay.
My main issue was the type of hit that this is. For as far as BTS hits go, I made a playlist because I wanted to listen to Butter kind of in the context of other BTS songs and compare them, back to back, I guess. And so I had this playlist on Spotify where I just have Butter. Okay, another BTS hit, Butter. BTS hit, Butter. BTS hit, Butter. And I ended up making this humongous list of music that BTS has released that I love, and realized that they have had so many massive songs. I mean, you look at the play count on these songs on YouTube and on Spotify, which now gives you play count, and there is just an insane, the numbers are just so big on so many of these.
Well, Rhodri, you realize that, like, for each of those platforms, they had to add extra digits specifically for BTS, and
We need
so
bigger
that, like,
numbers.
there could be those counts for each of those songs.
Anyway, the point I guess that I don't even need to make is that they're insanely popular and that most of their music is top quality stuff. But that I actually didn't feel like Butter was the cream of the crop as far as BTS songs go. I was thinking that, they would look back on Butter and see it as just kind of a song they released, a lot of production done by people they don't usually work with. A lot of, the lyrics RM had a hand in the lyrics. But, it's very similar song to Dynamite, both in the what it's trying to do and kind of the time that it's been released, which, nobody really, as you guys mentioned, had a hand in that from BTS. And I was just worried that, like, nobody would go back and listen to this great discography that they have of music that is both meaningful and powerful musically, like that just are constantly changing styles and trying different instrumentation and working the lyrics so that they're just perfectly on point with the message they're trying to get. However, I now am convinced that Butter actually does do a lot to sell the message of like a new they're the new guys on the block, and this is like an impeccable introduction to them. I now believe. I didn't really like Dynamite that much, gonna be honest. I don't think that was, the ideal way. I wouldn't introduce anybody to BTS by telling them to go listen to Dynamite. They would see that it was their most played song and maybe like go for it. Like, oh yeah, maybe this is a good introduction. I'd be like, no, you got to listen to Spring Day, buddy. Spring Day is a good introduction to BTS. And but I'm thinking, maybe Butter is a good introduction to BTS, which is fantastic. I mean, I didn't think I would come away from this feeling that way, and it kind of has made me wonder what kind of a fan I am. Not in the sense of like, what have I become, but sort of, I don't know, like where do I fall in the I was joking that I was a casual K-pop enthusiast, but I think that is, I guess, what I am. I'm just some guy that likes K-pop and it doesn't speak Korean. And I feel like there are probably a lot of people like me who don't get an opportunity to come on the Kpopcast and have a problem with a BTS song and have their mind changed. So I do still worry that Butter is going to just be another Dynamite for a lot of people. and that they, like me, won't have the chops to watch a music video and come up with all this insane stuff that you guys have noticed that has been so impressive to me. But yeah, the music itself is just very simple, very reminiscent of everything else that is coming out right now, and I worry that they won't stand out. So that, if I still have a problem with Butter, it is that I worry that they're gonna miss, the Most Beautiful Moment in Life album, or they're gonna miss You Never Walk Alone, and a world in which people aren't listening to those is not a world I want to live in. So yeah, if we're just looking at the sound at a very high level, that's kind of where I stand.
Rhodri, I don't think you're alone in that sentiment. I was talking about this song with my wife, and she's like, this isn't the emo angst boys of BTS that I grew up with.
That's what I need. I need the emo. I need something to really feel tragic over in a BTS song every once in a while.
Because I didn't see any Nirvana t-shirts in this one. I mean, if you're from their No Day, BTS's No Days, or Boy With Love, or Save Me, this is different.
Sure is.
And if you fell in love with BTS for those things, I think we have to acknowledge that this is different. They're still BTS. And as we called out earlier, they're still owning up to this is who they are. This is their identity. But, what it means to be a human being means that you're evolving and changing. So I don't know. I kind of want to put Bethany and Kayla on the spot on this one, actually. Like, as armies, is it possible to fall out of love? When someone changes to go to something different.
I had said if this song didn't have rap, it was a deal breaker for me, because I didn't want another Dynamite. I didn't want another thing that did not seem like BTS. So if they keep going on this track of continuing to make these English songs, but working on them more and more as they build their English discography, then I think I'm going to continue to support it. Mm-hmm. For me, it's as long as they are authentically BTS and continuing to try to bring us music that they're excited about, but that also sounds like them.
I agree with you, Kayla. My biggest critique, like full disclosure, about Butter was, for me, it was too similar to Dynamite. Mm-hmm. There's something about the production style with the vocals that they seem very forward. The vocals seem louder than the instrumental. And I go and I listen to songs, even like On, which was one of their more recent hit tracks. It's just different. The production style is very different. So I was happy to see that RM had some writing credits on the song. I think that made a difference. But during the press conference, they asked, when are you guys going to do another hip hop track?
Right.
And Suga ended up saying that, well, I released an entire mixtape of entirely rap. On B, we released hip hop tracks. So as long as they're putting albums out where they're still authentically them, maybe their hit track isn't my favorite, but I'm in love with the rest of their songs on the album.
Mm-hmm. And this single is functioning how it's supposed to be, as a single to get them popular on the radio. Mm-hmm. Because they already have us. We're already fully in tune with what they're putting out in an album. Mm-hmm. And I also have to think of this in a scope of they're building their English discography right now. They're trying to find their sound here in English for the first time. And so that follows them. Makes sense to me why Dynamite and Butter would sound similar, why that kind of 80s retro is super, super popular in American music right now, and why they would kind of emulate that in Butter as well. Mm-hmm. Just kind of have to think about the industry that they're trying to really break into.
Yeah. I mean, this is me perhaps just being more upset with the world than it is with necessarily BTS, but I kind of miss the old RM who's like, no, we're gonna sing in Korean. And you're going to deal with it.
Yeah.
Someone told them along the lines that you have to do this in English now if you want to make it further.
Yeah.
And that kind of sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just wish we could get to the point where American pop culture would be at a point where, like, I don't know what they're saying. Doesn't matter. Dope song. Dope looks.
Yeah.
Dope remix, whatever,
Yeah.
you know? Like,
You would hope.
I think in a perfect
Yeah.
world, because there are already so many, people in America that speak, more than one language. It would be really cool for it to just be cool for people to sing in other languages that are Americans.
right.
Yeah. I mean, they did it with Despacito. That was
Right.
number 1, fully Spanish song. Even Justin Bieber sang in Spanish on that. And that was number 1 on the charts. Everybody knew
Not
that
our brightest
song.
moment, though, to be honest.
Terrible song. Coming from a Spanish teacher.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, going back to this is what it takes. And you got to look at this as, just one ingredient as a part of the multifaceted and multidimensional group and legacy of BTS. This is just one part of it. It's a strategic move, for business, for
Definitely.
penetration. My guess, from what we've seen, this is a full week out from the release at the time we're recording this episode. My impression is that it seems to be working for its intended purpose.
It does.
But Kayla, you were saying earlier that hey, it's inspired by 80s sound, and they call that out. I'll say that when I first heard this song, I heard Bruno Mars singing this in my head, singing the vocals. I think Bruno Mars could perhaps give it a little bit of the lower tones in his delivery, whereas I think you guys were saying it's a bit forward in the vocal filters that they applied on their voices, that it was just very processed differently than what we traditionally know BTS and their vocal style for. So it almost felt like it was compromising on both fronts in terms of not BTS being this is our usual voices, but also compromising in the sense that this is like Bruno Mars territory, and namely in the chorus of the song. That's what it really felt like to me, and they called that out. I called that out, that they were inspired by Bruno Mars in this song. Oh, but before I go further, I want to counterbalance that with, however, Suga and J-Hope's verses. I think that's where it really returned back into BTS that we know them for, and it felt less processed. And the accompanying harmony for those verses with J-Hope and Suga felt more in their natural zone and range as singers.
Eyes on my wrist, I'm the nice guy. Got the right body and the right mind. Rolling up the party, got the right vibes. Move like haters, cool like cool shade, and you know we don't stop. Highlight, ain't no, you be like, oh my god.
One of BTS's big critiques of performing Dynamite was that it was in a very high range for them. Especially the vocal line. And that was something I reflected on with Butter as well, is that it seemed to be a little bit lower, a little bit more accessible to the vocalists. And then when we get into the rap verses, it sounds completely like BTS. The J-Hope's outro verse, that's very call and response, super hype, very epic. That's very much how he typically performs in songs.
Well, RM wrote the lyrics for the rap verses.
Right.
So it does sound more them.
Yeah.
There is English and there is RM English.
I feel like we need a Friends reference in another BTS English song. But it was also inspired by the production style of Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, a lot of big-time 80s R&B producers. And I can kind of hear that, especially in the percussion. My critique, however, with the percussion of this song, I was even surprised they did this. If you listen to the intro of the song, I think it's through the entire first verse, there is no harmony whatsoever. It's just a kick, snare, kick, snare, kick, snare, which is practically as bare bones as you can get it when it comes to music production and keep something in time. But that kick and snare felt really mushy in terms of how it was produced. And I personally prefer something a little crisper in the snare that makes you kind of like want to snap, when you're dancing. And so when I listen to, for example, the songs by Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis from the 80s, where they're playing around with jams from Janet Jackson, also in that 110 beats per minute range, it is much more snappy in the snare. And I think we're already so for me, I do DJing as a hobby, and my DJ record pools, I'm already seeing DJs compensate for that. And they're DJ friendly edits of these songs. So they're already producing edits of the song where the percussion just sounds different. But I would have preferred if they had something a little crisper, maybe something a little more funky in the bass. The bass is kind of just like boom, 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 boom. It's there.
It's one note.
Yeah. And it's it has a presence, to be sure. It definitely fills a lot of that audio spectrum in its presence, but it's not groovy. Whereas I think, again, Jimmy Jam, Terry Lewis, it's very groovy. And I think that's just a real missed opportunity because it's so close and then at the same time just so far from making it just more of a authentic dance party favorite that I would be playing. But that all being said, as a DJ who is emerging from my COVID-19 pandemic hibernation slumber, who's getting ready to go back outside into the clubs this summer, playing for real people again, you can be sure people are going to be dancing to this song. And I think it's going to perform both in the verses and in the chorus. It is got all the makings to be a peak hour jam song. So yeah, I think it's going to deliver on that.
I agree. In a non-professional DJ, not DJ opinion, I agree.
I was just going to say it's interesting, these critiques that you have about the beat and the production of the song, just because of knowing who produced this song. Ron Perry, Rob Grimaldi, and Stephen Kirk are the people who produced this song. Ron Perry is the chairman and CEO of Columbia Records, and he has very rarely, since taken this position, been credited as a producer on the song. So it's these huge names in this company producing this song, but then for the song to have those kind of failings as far as the percussion goes is so interesting to me.
Yeah.
Well, just to go off of that, for the bass line, I agree. It's one note, boom, 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 boom. But for me, it's still very distinct, and it stands out in the song. Yeah, I do believe that they could have had more fun with it. They could have made it more funky. But for the casual listener, it stands out. And the vocals are incredible. I mean, besides the production, the vocals are a huge part of the music. And they're running all over the scale. Even though we don't get any harmonies in the vocals in the first verse, they start to come in the second verse with Jimin. He is beautiful in his vocal support for both Jungkook and Taeyang. Smooth like butter, pour you in like no other. Don't need no usher to remind me you got it bad. Ain't no other that could sweep you up like a rubber. Straight up, I gotcha, making you fall like that.
What did you guys think of the remix that came out today, the Hotter remix? I
think a remix is going to function as a way to increase the song on the charts, and it's not something that I'm going to be listening to for enjoyment all the time. I'd rather listen to the original.
Yeah, it's strategic. I think that they're going to have multiple remixes like they did with Dynamite. When they end the line saying hotter, sweeter, cooler, butter, I would expect that those are going to be the remixes we get, considering we just got Hotter. Since the Hotter version had them in that one room with the purple lighting, and I forgot what the other lighting is on the other side.
Red.
The red lighting, yeah. I really hope that the sweeter version is that gymnasium scene for that cuter concept that they have. That's really what I'm expecting, but I could totally be wrong. Very common for me, ARMY to be wrong about theorizing, but that's what I'm expecting. I think it's strategic, the remixes. Yeah. There's a purpose for it. I liked the remixes. I tend to like the remixes. It's not my absolute favorite. I think Butter is still, the original track is better.
Yeah, I'm hoping for some really innovative peak hour EDM bangers, like more bootleg remixes. There's definitely been a lot of those that have been done really well in the past for a lot of other BTS hits, but it's the instrumental breakdown right after the second chorus. You guys know what I'm talking about, where they each do their freestyle dancing segment. That was my favorite part of the entire song. Like, it doesn't have a lot of singing in it, but I was feeling that beat the most. And it reminds me a lot of French electro house, namely Justice, Daft Punk, Danger. And that, I think, if we produce a remix more like leaning in that flair in that direction, that would be really fun, because it would play up more of the funk and groove aspects, but at the same time, a faster tempo EDM dance feel as well.
Yeah, I think that's coming.
That'd be fun.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's close it out, y'all. Every episode where we go through these deep dives where we talk about the message, the lyrics, the concept, the dance, and the music itself, at the end of the day, we still have to say whether or not this song is
Daebak or not.
That's got to be the best Daebak or not I've ever heard on this show.
Okay, Roger, why don't you go first?
Is it Daebak or not? Yes, it's Daebak.
Okay.
I've been converted.
Okay.
Yes.
You're going in not, but we just said such intelligent things that it made you come around.
That actually is exactly what happened. Yeah.
There you go. How about you, Bethany?
I say Daebak, for sure. I think it exceeds what Dynamite was. I believe that's going to have wild success. And I absolutely love it. I definitely enjoy it more than I did for Dynamite.
Yes. I think we can all agree on that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm so relieved that I'm not alone there.
Yeah. And how about you, Kayla?
Definitely Daebak. Ditto to everything Bethany says. I love it. It's incredible. Can't wait to listen to it more.
Yeah. And it's Daebak for me as well, for all the reasons that we have discussed. You know, I thought it was really funny. I think it was the Whiting Words podcast. I might be getting this mixed up, but one of the other K-pop podcasts tweeted like, "Oh, this co-host said that Dynamite was better than Butter." I'm afraid to inform you that was her last episode on the show.
Oh my gosh!
For having the wrong opinion, you know. So, yeah, I think that seems to be the common sentiment that Dynamite felt a bit forced, and Butter just did it better.
It was smooth like butter.
Yeah, smells it. It was fattier, had more heart, more flavor, more substance, and more filling. Okay. So signing off, let our listeners know where they can find you each on Twitter, online, or all your places. So Kayla, Bethany, why don't you go first?
Hey, yeah, follow us on Twitter at Stanning BTS Pod, Stanning BTS Podcast on Instagram. You can listen to us on any platform that you can find podcasts, Apple Music, Spotify, Consequence, really wherever.
Okay. And Rhodri?
You can find me on Twitter at Rhodri. It's just my name first name's twice. RHODRI. I really only tweet when a Haze or Akmu album comes out, but feel free to follow for specifically those things.
Haze and Akmu are two good reasons to tune in. All right, and I'm at DJ Peter Lowe, and don't forget you can follow all of us at the Kpopcast. And in addition to the Kpopcast on Twitter, you can also get to make some new friends. You can talk about BTS Butter. We can talk about why I'm wrong about a lot of other things. I'm willing to be corrected. I'm willing to be told I'm wrong, especially about Jungkook's hair. You can do that in the Kpopcast Slack, and a link to join our Slack will be in the description of this episode and frankly all of our other episodes. And don't forget to rate, review, and share this episode online.
Any iconic ARMY out there, we love you.